with us. This is ABC News GH and you're watching the Midday News. The opposition National Democratic Congress NDC is most likely to win the 2024 presidential elections. Fitch Solutions has stated in its analysis titled Positive Shift in Ghana's Political Risk Profile following IMF program approval. According to the UK-based firm, the rapid deterioration of economic conditions in 2022 and slow progress in the fight against perceived corruption will exacerbate anti-incumbency sentiments among their electorates. This is the current prediction by Fitch Solutions on 18th July 2024. The indicators for this is the economy, job creation. Recent polls consistently place the NDC ahead, with the most recent survey showing 54% of respondents favoring the NDC. The policy direction of the country will not change under the NDC government. The NDC will most likely stick to Ghana's IMF program, particularly as the party has shown. We have on the line the Deputy National Communications Director for the NPP, Esiedu Kokuro. Good afternoon, Esiedu.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon to your viewers and your listeners this afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. Fitch Solutions have projected that your opponent, the NDC, is most likely to win the 2024 presidential elections. What do you make of this?
I think that I've read the report. And I'm amazed because they did not actually talk about the number of the respondents they interviewed by the quoted percentage. Again, if you look at the Fitch Solutions reportage, they have revised the growth rate of the economy from 3.8% to 4.3%. They have also forecasted that the Ghanaian economy will grow 4.5% in 2025. So I'm amazed because there is some certain degree of contradiction in the reportage, because they are saying that they have revised the growth rate because they are predicting that the next 2 quarters certain economic activity is going to peak, and based upon that the economy will grow. My dear sister, I have said that when elections is coming to a very tipping point, you get a lot of predictions. You know, he's talking about probability. He says most likely. So most likely doesn't mean that is it. It means there are certain things that as a government, if you put things in place very well, as they have indicated in their report, and they have revised the GDP growth from 3.8% to 4.3%. It tells you that all is not lost. We as a party are doing our campaign. We're engaging the Ghanaian people. People are talking, but people will talk, but voting dynamics also varies. Somebody will complain that things are tough may not necessarily mean that he's going to vote against the incumbent government. Indeed, if you look at the Fitch report, they have indicated that the elections, incumbent governments are going to win. Yes. So they have also gone ahead. That is why they were not so emphatic. They said that the NDC is ahead, but it most likely. Most likely means it's not final. It means that if the incumbent government is able to put things in place as they have forecasted, that the growth they have revised, it tells you that all is not lost. For me, I've been talking about tools across the country the last 1 month. Many networks that I've been sharing talks with, I've said that until the voters cast their vote, some of these election predictions are not actuals. The most important thing is that on the 7th of December, the Ghanaian people will go to polls and then they will speak. To us, the MPP, we are more than the NDC, my dear sister. If you look at early 1996, where the NDC led by former President Rawlings was able to get about 56%. Post 1990s, in the early 2000s, the NDC have not been able to get more than 51%. Prof. Mills in 2008 presidential elections got 50.23%. The NDC, also led by Mahama in 2012, got 50.7%. We have won elections more than 51%. So we are more than the NDC in terms of numbers. We are more than them. We are engaging the Ghanaian people. We are looking at the concern of the Ghanaian people, how the concerns that they are talking, we are engaging them. Our next president, Dr. Baumia, is engaging the Ghanaian people. The last 2 weeks, he has been in the northern part of the country, listening to the concerns of the Ghanaian people, and how best government will be able to put certain interventions in place to be able to ameliorate the issues across the country. So, my dear sister, push will come, but the most important thing is the election day. Yeah, there are many polls that push some people ahead, but when the vote is cast, it's a different scenario. If you recall, in the 2016 elections in the U.S., everybody thought that Hillary Clinton was ahead of Donald Trump. By the end of the day, Donald Trump won the elections. In 2020, who thought that in America, Joe Biden will be able to beat Donald Trump? But Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in the U.S. So, my dear sister, the most important thing is that we are looking at the concern. Indeed, if you look at the key indicators of assessing the economy, indeed, there have been downturn in some sectors of the Ghanaian economy. That government has put certain pragmatic strategies in place to be able to change some things. So let us wait as they have predicted the fate. Government has put in place some interventions that will be able to see some key dividend manifesting the next 2 quarters before we vote in 7th December. So, yeah, I'm listening to you.
According to Fitch's report, they say that the slow nature of fighting corruption in Ghana is what is causing citizens to lose faith in the incumbents.
You see, I've said this on many platforms, it's perception. You see, people are day by day, people are putting lies into the system, conjectures. They don't provide evidence. That is the strategy of the opposition. They did the same thing in 2008. They generated accounts of former government officials in the Dengue government that they were having some money at Prudential Bank. After they won elections in 2008, they formed government 2009. Fifi Kwete, then propaganda secretary of the NDC, appeared before the parliamentary vetting committee. He couldn't actually come with evidence. Again, if you also recall, it's the same strategy. In 2008, they said that then government has stolen all the funds at the Bank of Ghana, the gold reserves. The former government 2009, they couldn't come with evidence. So the perception that people, the corruption issues that people are talking about, is a perception, is a continual lies. For instance, recently the member of parliament for North Town, Okujato, is saying that government is selling state lands. Look at the report that the Ministry of Lands has published. It was all lies. That all the transactions started in the previous regime, not this current regime led by Nanado and Baumia. So it's a strategy that the opposition is putting continual lies into the system. And when they put continual lies into the system, public perception increases on corruption, but it may not be the reality. That is it. So what they are talking about, the Ghanaian people, some majority know that it's lies. That is the strategy of the NDC, the antics. Let us put lies into the system, continuous lies into the system. When you interrogate it, they don't give you evidence. It's pure conjecture, pure exaggeration. They exaggerate the thing too much and they can't even provide evidence. If you look at the Ministry of Lands, the report that they have published about Okujato saying that government have sold park and garden lands, government have sold prison lands, and a whole lot. And when they publish the report, the Ghanaian people have seen that it's mere lies. It's a strategy. Let us put continuous lies into the system. So what they are talking about, we are engaging the Ghanaian people across the country. We are letting them know that what they are talking about is not true. We are telling them the facts. We are giving them evidence.
Okay. So, Esiedu, from what you have said, you say corruption is a perception formed by the...
Because if they have evidence, these people out, they are very aggressive, they will bring evidence. They'll just put anything into the system. That is the start of the NDC. Oh, they are stealing government money, they are stealing Ghanaians' money. No evidence. No evidence. It's pure conjectures. Continuous lies.
Well, thank you very much, Esiedu.
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Have a lovely day.
Okay, so that's Esiedu Kokoro, Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP. Let's take a look at Fitch Solutions report, which places the NDC above the NPP in the upcoming presidential elections. Well, previous prediction by Fitch Solutions this January 26, 2024, the indicators were that the current state of the economy will play a significant role in the choice of voters in December 2024. West Africa will be an important monitoring point for security risks in 2024. Anticipation of policy continuity prevailing in the sub-Saharan Africa region, with most incumbents expected to secure victories and retain their projections. This was in January 2024 when Fitch made some projections. Let's look at the next one. Again in January 26, 2024, the indicators were that the current state of the economy will play a significant role in the choice of voters in December 2024. Right. The Executive Director for Global Info Analytics has said that there won't be a runoff in the 2024 presidential elections.
From what we have seen, there won't be a runoff. If the situation changes by the next poll, we'll come back and tell the the situation has changed. But since the question was, if elections were held today, who would you vote for? We're not saying in December. If we go back in October, November, and that's changed, we'll let you know. But for it to move back the way you want it to move, or they want it to move, it's all about what? The economy. Price of goods and services. Are they stable? Are they going up? Are people able to somehow begin to see improvement in their lives? If that happens, we can see some shift in the numbers. But if the situation continues the way it is now, I'm sorry.
Musa Dankwa again has said that a call for a presidential debate won't change the outcome of the elections. However, debates are good for the growth of Ghana's democracy.
What a debate. These debates actually, it's just good for the middle people. That's no matter what you tell NDC people, they will not change their mind. No matter what you tell NPP people, they will change their mind. But there are people who are on the fringes of both parties. For example, they are not hardcore MPP or NDC. They are just objective, just like they normally align themselves to MPP or NDC. Those people, they are a bit objective than the base. Then you have the floating voters who are in the middle, who sometimes vote MPP, vote for NDC. I believe the debate would rather be very useful for these people in the middle or in the fringes of those parties. But indeed, in terms of proving somebody's academic or prowess in debate, internal capacity in debate, look, it helps if you are president with that capacity to debate issues. It has not delivered anything.
Well, that was Musa Dankwa, the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. Meanwhile, Rotational Nurses and Midwifery Association has given the Ministry of Health a 2-week ultimatum to give financial clearance for payment of their 12-month unpaid allowances. Otherwise, its members will picket at the Ministry of Health. The government owes some 11,000 nurses and midwives 12 months of allowances for their 1-year mandatory national service. But the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association says all measures to get the Ministry of Health to pay what is due them have not been fruitful, putting most of its members in a sad financial state. There's more in this report.
Oh boy! Yay! Boy! Hey! Boy! Hey! Boy! Hey! Boy!
The shouts of aggrieved rotational nurses and midwives who have been without pay for the last 12 months. This is the 2023 batch of rotational nurses and midwives, representing over 11,000 nurses and midwives who are calling for the swift payment of the unpaid allowances. The national president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Kwame Amebli, addressing the media, charged the Ministry of Health to give clearance for immediate disbursement of the unpaid allowances.
We, the members of Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, call on the Ministry of Health, the government, and all relevant stakeholders to address our concerns urgently. Our specific demands are as follows: immediate issue or issuance of our financial clearance. We demand the immediate issuance of our financial clearance to facilitate the payment of all unpaid allowances and enable us to meet our basic needs.
The National Youth Coordinator for the Ghana Registered Association of Nurses and Midwives, who joined the Rotational Nurses and Midwives, Prince Opuni Frimpong, indicated the massive contribution of the rotational nurses and midwives to the health system of Ghana and the need for the allowances to be paid.
We want to place it on record that rotation nurses and midwives contribute to the healthcare system in Ghana. They are seen in the various hospitals, the various teaching hospitals, the regional hospitals, and wherever healthcare delivery is given. And in fact, to work for 1 year, 12 months, rendering service to the good people of Ghana without receiving a dime, it's not the best.
Jamila Mahmood, a rotational nurse, expressed her dissatisfaction as she dared to vote against the government if their 12-month allowances are not paid.
We are urging the government, please, the campaign is okay, they should pay us, because we too, we are also part of the people that are going to vote, and we reassure the government that if this thing...
Razak Isifu is the National Public Relations Officer for the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association. He joins us on phone to give us updates on this development. Hello, Awudu.
Hello, madam.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on ABC News Ghana.
Good afternoon.
Awudu, how much does government owe rotational nurses and midwives in unpaid allowances?
All right, thank you very much. I extend greetings to all your listeners and viewers. As stated, we started our rotation in July 3rd, 2023. And as it stands now, we have done 12 good months and we haven't received our allowance. But our seniors, looking at it, the average amount is 10,646 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
For each individual.
All right. What has been the feedback from the ministry?
Frankly speaking, from the onset, we tried engaging the ministries because we believe in the philosophy of non-violence and then dialogue. But we tried severally. We didn't get any response from them. So we proceeded to do a press conference that was on the 16th of April, 2024. Then from there, we have been engaging the ministries, but we haven't gotten any positive response from them. And that led to this press conference that we held yesterday.
Okay. Following the press conference yesterday, have you heard anything from anyone at the ministries concerning the press conference you held?
No, please. After the press conference, we sent a statement to the ministries and then delivered it to the Ministry of Health, the Deputy Minister of Health, the Director HR, and that of the other stakeholders within the ministry. But we haven't heard any response from them yet.
Okay, Awudu, you say that your association will picket at the Ministry of Health if what you're looking for isn't given you, your due isn't given you. Beyond that, what other avenues are you looking at to make sure that you receive your allowances?
Frankly speaking, looking at it, it's not that we are interested in coming to the public to be complaining, but we are looking at the current financial constraint that this delay in the payment of the allowance has led us into. Now, as it stands now, we have completed our rotation. The next batch has also started. They have also done 2 months. And as it stands, we haven't heard anything from them regarding our payment. And the most painful aspect is that most of the facilities are also waiting for the financial clearance so that they can now let us fill the IPPD forms. and add up the necessary requisite documents that will lead to the payment of the allowance. And now we have finished our rotation. We have to go back to our various homes. Some are stranded, they don't know what to do. Because as it stands, some are from very far away places because the rotation that we are doing, it is not where you want that you will be posted to. We are being posted randomly. And people want to go back, but they are stranded. Once you go back and clearance come, you have to foot back and then come with your documents to the facility. Now, the landlords are also evicting us from their homes because our rent has expired and we don't have money to even renew. So these are the challenges that we are facing, and we are calling on the government to swiftly help us get our financial clearance so that all these challenges will be out from it.
Thank you, Awudu.
Well, thank you very much too.
That was Awudu Razak Isifu, the PRO for the rotational nurses and midwives. A press release dated July 17 and signed by the Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, says the appointment was made in accordance with law. The President has appointed Deputy IGP COP Tete Yohonu as Deputy IGP in charge of operations. The statement added that President Akufo-Addo extends his heartfelt congratulations to COP Christian Tete Yohonu on his well-deserved appointment and wishes him the very best in the discharge of his duties. Commissioner of Police, Mr. Christian Tete Yohonu, has been appointed as the new Deputy Inspector General of Police, IGP, in charge of operations. This appointment comes barely 6 months to the national elections. We have Richard Kumado on the line. He is a security analyst to speak to us on this latest development. Hello, Richard. Thank you for joining us.
Who told you I'm a security analyst?
Pardon me, Richard. Richard is a security consultant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Richard, we're just a few months to the general elections. Is this decision by the president a laudable one?
Oh, when it comes to IGP, and I say when it comes to the personality of Yomenu, he is overqualified, and he is qualified to even become an IGP. If you remember, even before Dan Parry was made an IGP, his name was all over the place as the replacer before Dan Parry was appointed. So, police professionalism, competence as an IGP, best practices, he has it all. I don't think the timing is a problem. He will work within the team and make sure that he performs as an IGP or a deputy IGP. I also think they are preparing the way for Dan Parry to go so that he takes over. What is, however, intriguing is that it's not the responsibility, or it shouldn't be the responsibility of the president to be appointing deputy IGPs and be saying they are in charge of operations and be assigning designations to them. It brings a little bit of conflict of interest, and it can create undermining and suppression within the police service. And that is the only problem with it. Other than that, timing is not a problem. The personality is overqualified, and I think he will do his best.
How do you foresee this new office occupied by COP Yohonu to work effectively as we enter the elections?
And to the extent that he has created a problem for them by giving him a designation, that is the only challenge with it. That's the only challenge. If they can manage to put their differences aside, which will be so difficult to do, if they can do it that way and work together as a team, I think they will go far. Other than that, there will be the challenge of undermining one another and conflict of interest, because now he said the man is in charge of operations. Who will the man report to? Is it the IGP or to him directly? And how would the IGP take over somebody's work he has not appointed into that department? That is the challenge.
Okay, Richard. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
That was Richard Kumado, a security consultant. Transport fares are to increase by 15% effective Monday, and this comes from private transport operations. The Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 15% increase in transport fares effective Monday, July 22. The association cited the rising cost of fuel as a primary reason for the fare hike, with some oil marketing companies now selling products at prices exceeding 15 Ghana cedis after a recent 4% price hike in the petroleum products. Prior to this, the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, said in an interview on Monday, July 15 with ABC News GH that the 4% fuel increment will not affect transport fares. We ask why the sudden U-turn by the drivers' union to increase fares on Monday.
I normally do IT. I'm an IT person, so I think it will affect me because if I'm delivering items to them, I definitely have to have the charges to the items to them. So with services and other stuff, well, I know my clients will complain that I'm charging them highly, but I think it's okay. It will, with the prices, I don't do just delivery. I also work. If the salaries are not being increased and the prices are going up, the transfer prices are going up, then I think our employers also have to do something about it for us.
Okay, I would say it's going to affect me because of what I'm doing, about the work and the payment, so definitely it's going to affect me.
So what work do you do? What work do you do?
I'm a trader.
Okay, and
take the transport is going to affect. And in the market, so the market is so
I normally do IT. I'm an IT person, so I think it will affect me because I'm delivering items to
Drivers Association. Hello, Yao. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon on ABC News GH. Yao, did your union table a proposition to the transport ministry? So the transport union has said that they will increase transport prices. We would remember that a few months ago, the transport union increased transport prices by 10%. It raised a lot of concerns with Ghanaians, and we hope to speak with you very soon to hear their position on this matter. Meanwhile, Abbas Imoro, the Industrial Relations Officer for GPRTU, mentioned on Monday that the GPRTU will not increase transport fares. He said that this is because they think about the Ghanaian population very much, and they are looking at mitigating the cost that will fall on the citizens. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Mahama, has commenced the working visit to the Ayawaso, West Wogon and Adenta constituencies in the Greater Accra region. My colleague Samuel Nimagbo is on grounds to give us more information. Hello, Samuel. Good afternoon. Samuel, let us know the situation there.
Constituency here at Bauleshi, we are at the Mimpasem electoral area where the former president and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, is paying a working visit to the constituency. Currently, he's on stage addressing the congregants who have come here in their numbers to listen to the former president. In attendance is the candidate, the parliamentary candidate for the constituency, John Dumelo. He came with his campaign manager, Joshua Alabi, and he also came with the regional executives of the National Democratic Congress, the regional chairman, and other dignitaries that follow him. Primarily, what the former president has been saying is that the NDC is on the NDC is on an agenda of taking the seat back from the NPP. He says that the NPP has lost the vision for the country. The former president has been saying that, especially, let me remind our listeners and viewers that the constituency in which we are in had a situation in 2019 when they held a by-election here, the Ayawaso West by-election, where some violence erupted, leading to some injuries and casualties here within the constituency. The first thing the former president touched on is a reassurance to the constituency members and his supporters that when they come into power, they will make sure they get justice for the victims of these of the 2019 by-election violence here in Ayawaso. He said that the government has failed to implement the Emil Short Commission recommendation, where you remember President Akufo-Addo issued a white paper where he didn't implement some of the recommendations. The vice president, the former president, is saying that when they come into power, they will seek justice for the victims and make sure they get compensation. He's also been talking about other issues where he says that the NDC, when they come to power, they are going to establish a women's bank to support the women in small-scale small, medium enterprises, women enterprises as well. Other issues that former president has been touching on is that he's been throwing some shots to the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. He says that the 5 months is enough for the vice president to start implementing his promises that he's promising on his campaign tour. The vice president has he has done his campaign tour in the 16 regions, and he's also on his constituency tour as well. He's been making some promises. The former president is saying that you are in power. 5 months to the election is enough to start implementing some of these policies. And the former president has also been saying that the NPP do not understand the gravity of the economic situation that Ghana is currently going through, and the Ghanaians are suffering. He says that if they say that they are the best government in the history of Ghana, comparing themselves to Nkrumah. You remember the running mate for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at his inaugural speech said that the NPP and President Akufo-Addo has outperformed every other president, including even Nkrumah. The former president is saying that statement was a misplaced statement, that they do not understand the gravity of the economic hardship that Ghanaians are going through, and that Ghanaians are going through one of the worst ever economic situations. So these are some of the things that former president has been saying at his tour here, or his visit to the Ayawaso West constituency. We're at the Mimpasem electoral area, just a few meters away from the Bauleshi polling station, the Baolesi School polling station, where the incident, the 2019 by-election incident happened. So, Abna, this is what is happening here in Ayawaso.
Thank you, Sammy. Samuel, is there a reason why the former president started his campaign from the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, looking and seeing as it is not a stronghold of the NDC?
Yes, that is that's a very big reason. The first reason is that this constituency is known, or in recent time has become known for the 2019 by-election that brought some violence, and people, some electorate were caught up in the violence, some got injured. So the former president is commencing his tour here to first of all give his words of assurance to those victims. He says that he has visited some of them in the past and he will continue to visit them, but he's coming here to assure them that when he wins power, if he wins power in the December 7th election, he's going to compensate them and seek justice for them. He's also here for a particular reason. They have been battling to take the seat away from the NPP since 1996. The Ayawaso was Wogon constituency. The NDC has never won it since 1996. The last time they won was in 1996. So it is a target, and they have a youthful candidate here in the person of John Dumelo, who has contested once and lost. And he said that John Dumelo, when he also took the podium, said that he will win. He was very emphatic about it, that he will win the seat for the NDC in this constituency. So it is an agenda for them to take away the seat. They said that the NPP hasn't helped the people of Ayawaso West Wogon, and with John Dumelo as their parliamentary candidate, they are so sure of winning the seat for them.
Okay. Samuel, from Ayawaso West Wogon, where is the next destination for the former president?
So from Ayawaso West Wogon, the former president would be taking his working visit to the Adentine constituency, here also in the Greater Accra region. Adenta as well is a very dicey constituency. They currently have they have the sitting NP in Adenta. So from here he will be moving to Adenta, but before Adenta he will take a bit of stroll through the Ayawaso West constituency after his engagement here at the Mimpasem electoral area. He will move a bit around the constituency before going to Adenta. And Adenta and Ayawaso share a border. They are just close to each other, so it's not a far distance. The former president will be going to Adenta as well to engage with the electorate over there and share his message with them.
Well, so that was Samuel Nimado, my colleague. He is with the former president and flag bearer for the NDC, His Excellency John Mahama, as he's commenced his working visit in the Greater Accra region. Dengue fever. The Ghana Health Service has issued a caution to the public following an outbreak of dengue fever in the country. This warning comes after the confirmation of several cases in multiple districts within the eastern and western and central region. Dr. Patrick Kumar Boaji, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, announced that 9 cases were identified through laboratory tests conducted at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. The affected patients exhibited symptoms similar to clinical malaria, which did not respond to standard anti-malarial treatments, prompting further investigation. I have on the line Dr. Samuel Arthur. He is a public health analyst to speak with us on this issue of dengue fever. Hello, Doc.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doc. Thank you for joining us on ABC News Ghana.
Thank you for having me.
Let
me kindly make this. I am Samuel. I am Mr. Samuel Watting Arthur, not Boxer.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. An increase in the number of dengue fever is a worrying trend to us here in Ghana as Ghanaians. What are we looking at? For those of us who do not understand what dengue fever is, what is it?
Okay, so thank you very much, ABC News, also for having me, and also particularly to speak on this matter. So dengue fever, I guess we shouldn't get too excited. We shouldn't get too tickled. We shouldn't get too alarmed, even though the Ghana Health Service apparently also has come out with an alert. But dengue fever, we know in some other parts of the world, we've seen several outbreaks in other parts of the world, particularly in South America, specifically Brazil, where they've had more cases. We are talking about 9, 11, and I'm hearing that today from the samples that have been tested so far, about 36 cases have been confirmed. So of course, we can't wait till the numbers blow, but it is a concern actually, and I'm also critically concerned. But my concern is not with the outbreak of the dengue disease, but the kind of health system we have, the kind of whether the health system is very responsive, particularly in the area of surveillance, such that we can be able to nip some of these diseases in the bud and prevent situations, outbreaks like we are beginning to find now. Because of course, our health system is structured that, you see, because of access, which is of okay, that's fine. So what I'm saying is particularly, you see, because dengue fever may be one of the diseases or illnesses or some of the epidemic outbreak that we may have. But what kind of health system do we have in place? What kind of surveillance system do we have in place within the community, within various community health structures and posts, all the way to the district, then to the regional and then the tertiary level? So for me, if we have quite a very responsive system, then fever should not be a major issue. Of course, we can talk about all the clinical issues, but we still need to look at how the system can pick this thing up as early as possible, because the earlier we detect it, the earlier for us also to put in steps to avert the situation where we have an epidemic or we have proportions of epidemic nature, which may be more disastrous. We know that dengue fever is fatal in some cases. For example, in Cote d'Ivoire, they recorded quite some. I think last year they had about 12 cases or more, and then we realized about 1 or 2 fatalities in Cote d'Ivoire. So for me, once it's around your neighbors, the right thing is that we would have really upped our surveillance in a manner that we will not be getting all these cases. Now we are around 36. We don't know how many, because the truth is people try to deal with the fever symptoms by going to the drugstores and the pharmacies, where they do not have the benefit of this testing and laboratory examination and all that. They will just be based on symptoms, and then they will administer anti-malaria. But from dengue fever, it is clear that it is not that which can be dealt with anti-malaria, but it is the clinical type of malaria that may not necessarily be something that is caused by the malaria parasite, but it could be other infections and other bacteria that could also be at play, together with these mosquito bites that can put you in that situation. So that is one bit about the health system. The second bit is about the community. I am hearing that within the alert, they are talking about cleaning our gutters, making sure the drains are clean. Listen, we have to wait till we have dengue fever before we clean our gutters and make sure that we don't allow water to gather in ponds and cans where mosquitoes and other breeding agents can breed and then bring diseases to us. You know, where we have come in our life as a country. For me, it is not now that we need to do this. This is something that will be routine. It's a daily thing. It should be part of our national life. And for me, in respect of this, let me give some big shout out to the vast top boys who are doing a lot of cleaning and sorting around the city. It is a shame to the sanitation ministry, and for me, health is a coordinated thing. You see, from sanitation, environment, all other aspects of our life connect to health. So we cannot leave it to the health ministry alone. What is the sanitation ministry doing with respect to water that is collected? This is the rainy season. Already we are seeing a lot of floods and all that. After the flood, what have been the action of the real government agencies that are supposed to be in charge of sanitation? Because if water does not collect, these mosquitoes cannot breathe. And then for that matter, we will not even buy people to give them infection. So it's a bigger issue we need to look at, not just dengue fever, but so that we can position ourselves and be able to deal with all other outbreaks, whether dengue fever or even probably maybe another corona, which we don't call for.
Okay. Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you so much, and you have a good day.
You too. That was Mr. Samuel Arthur. He is a public health analyst. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. A recap of our top stories. NDC most likely to win 2024 presidential elections. Fifth Solutions projects. President Akufo-Addo appoints COP Yohunu as Deputy IGP in charge of operations. There won't be a runoff in the 2024 presidential elections. Presidential debates won't have an impact on the outcome of elections. Musa Dankwa, the Executive Director of the Global Info Analytics. Thank you for joining us on the Midday News. Get interactive with us on our socials. For more news, follow us on www.abcnewsgh.com. My name is Abna Mante. Thank you for joining us.